Wonders, and happy Monday. It is the last week of my practicum placement, and I am really sad about it. Like, I absolutely adore these kids that I am teaching for my homeroom class. Like, I am super duper sad that this is my last week with them. I do get to see them again in February, but still it feels like forever, like it's so far away from now to February, even though it's not that far away, but still far enough away that I'm like, I'm gonna miss these kids so much. Today I just taught literacy, but I asked a couple questions to my AT about my science lesson for this week. I am doing the science lesson for this week again. She's making the slides, but I'm teaching the lesson. Tomorrow we're doing cells and cell organization. And then they're also going to be starting a research project. And then these are my homeroom kids. My homeroom kids, and then again, we have science on Thursday. So on Thursday, we're going to do another lesson, and then we'll also continue doing more research for their research project. I also got back my AT's interim report for me today. I get all 4s except for like one thing, which is like a pre-assessment section, which I kind of expected because I don't really do a lot of pre-assessment since I'm not really there all that often. Or like I've been there for a whole month. That's bullshit. But I haven't really had the opportunity to be able to do the pre-assessment as much as I could, especially since I've only been doing like full-time teaching, 50% teaching, the last 2 weeks. So that's something that we're going to work on in February, and then also doing where I actually get to grade some of their work and going out more into the marking, and then sitting down and doing one-on-ones with IEPs. But she said in her general comments that I am doing wonderful and that it's been a pleasure to have me in her class, and she looks forward to having me in her class again in February. And I freaking love this woman. She is so amazing. The sweetest, most kindest human that I've ever met. And like, this is so not scary, and I thought it was gonna be way scarier than it actually was. So like, I am having the time of my life. I am so sad that this is my last week, but that is okay. But yeah, that is my update in regards to how today went. For literacy, we worked on summarizing, which the kids pretty much got right away. It was like super easy for them to get because they've been doing summaries for a while. Tomorrow I'm introducing the Oreo method for paragraph writing, and we are starting paragraph writing for the rest of the week. We're working on the grade 7s are writing an opinion paragraph in the Oreo format on Bigfoot, and then the grade 8s are doing so for this Autumn Peltier person. So yeah, that is very exciting. I am very excited to teach this to them tomorrow. And yeah, I am now going to cozy up in bed and read. I'm also starting a new reading challenge tomorrow on the Tuesday, but I'm going to try to film a whole YouTube video around that, so that will be something that you guys will hopefully see like sometime far in the future. Fingers crossed, because I will explain it more in that video. But that is like a future video that I'm doing. And then next week I'm also decided to film for another future video. We're going to do part 2. So you guys are prepared. We're doing part 2 of the trading my screen time for reading time video that I did back in April of this year, because I really like doing that. And I was like, well, I have a week off. Why don't I do that? So that is what we're doing next week. And yeah, that is my update for you guys. I will talk to you guys tomorrow probably, if I have any other updates. So yeah. Hello, little wonders, and happy Tuesday evening. I am refilming this clip for the second time because I got interrupted the first time. But what I had initially said is the day went really well. We had to end up switching our science and math block around. They were both still for 60 minutes, but we just had to switch our science block to later in the day because our projector wasn't working. And it turns out it wasn't our projector, it was the outlets in our room. So we had the custodians come and fix that. And then they did a math review instead first thing this morning, which went really well. They struggled a little bit, but my AT says she's going to push their math quiz back a week today, and then give them more review, which is perfectly fine. They kind of, I think, need that more review. And then science, I taught the grade 8s their cell organization and systems, and then the grade 7s went in the hall with my AT for their lesson. And then the grade 8s also got assigned a body systems assignment. That is basically they have to research one of the body systems, all the organs and everything that go, tissues and stuff that go inside the organ system, describe it, all these different things. It's going to be a presentation that they end up having to do. So they started working on that once they finished the comprehension questions. And then we skipped, normally we have like 2 blocks of literacy. Usually it's just the entire afternoon is literacy, but they had French for last period, so it got split up into like before lunch and then after lunch. So we decided just to do the whole thing after lunch. And then I taught my Oreo paragraph, which they were they were engaged, but are slightly confused as to like how the graphic organizer has like the opinion, and then there's like supporting reasons, and there's 3 of them. Then you're supporting evidence for that reason, so like the direct quotes from what they've been reading, and then they have to elaborate more. And I think there's like only 8 of them are typing up their final paragraphs, and I think some of them are confused as to like the steps to go, like how you go like one reason, do all of this parts for that reason, then go into your second reason, and then go into your third reason. So they're slightly confused about that, I think. So I'm going to check in on them tomorrow and be like, okay, are we slightly confused as to how you go from the graphic organizer to the paragraph, and go from there. I have 3 students that are allowed to type up their graphic organizers because of their CIAs, which is totally fine. I gave them, one of them decided to type it up right away, the other one decided to handwrite it, the third one just wasn't there today, but she has the option as well to type it up, which I did post for them to be able to do. And that's pretty much it. That is my update for today. Yeah, I will update you guys more tomorrow. It's still crazy to me that this is my last week with these kids, and I don't want it to be my last week, but it's fine. It is fine. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Hello, little wanderers, and happy Friday. I have been super busy this week to the point where it's like I haven't really had time to film. There's maybe like 2-3 items before this clip. I have been really busy with it being my last week at my placement. I have been focusing on absorbing as much as I can and being as present as I can throughout this last week with these kids. I think the last time I filmed was on Tuesday night. On Wednesday, we had a supply teacher come in, but I kind of was more still lead. I was lead teaching, so I did all of the teaching and instruction and everything. The supply was just kind of there to make sure we followed the rules of me not being left alone with the kids, which is totally fine with, like, that's what we're supposed to do. She gave me a compliment at the end of the day, said I did a fantastic job, which I feel really proud about, that she gave me that compliment. I ended up having like my 2 Rotary classes. One class went really smoothly, and I even saw the teacher at lunch, and I gave her a compliment for her kids that day. And then like the second class that we had was like difficult. One of the kids doesn't like to do anything in the class and like to goof off, but eventually we got him to actually like at least write down and answer one of the comprehension questions, which is better than previous times. And then we, on Wednesday afternoon was more working on paragraphs and everything. And then on Thursday, my AT was back. We originally were going to do a science lesson, but it was decided that we'll just give the kids a work period because she wasn't there the day before, which was fine with me. So for all of science, they all got work periods. And then in literacy, we also did more paragraph work. A lot of the kids kind of were getting it better, and I was going to all the kids that weren't there the day before on Wednesday, just to be like, okay, I gave them an example on Wednesday as to like how to bring your graphic organizer into the actual paragraph. So that was happening. And then, so for those kids, I went to them and explained it to them, and tried to get them to like work a little bit more on their paragraph. And then today was Halloween. Kids were absolutely crazy and feral. This morning we had gym. We tried this game of trick or treat. It was like kind of worked, kind of didn't. And then we played dodgeball. They played Dr. Dodgeball first, and they weren't really that interested in it. Then they played King's Court Dodgeball, which they were kind of more interested in. And then they did 2 rounds of that one. And then it was back upstairs for French. And French, they had a free period. And I just asked one of the kids that wasn't there when I introduced the Oreo paragraph to explain to them their assignment. And so I did that. She ended up working on the paragraph the entire period. Once I explained it to her, which I told her she could do whatever she wants for her free time after I explained to her the assignment. And then I had a few other kids come up to me to show me their Oreo paragraphs, but they just gave me like, if it was 2 pages, I was like, I'm giving you access to type up your document. I gave everybody else the ability to type up their assignment since I won't be there on Monday. And then in the afternoon, the kids were able to go to the other intermediate classes for like, one class was a movie, the other one was board games, and then we did arts and crafts / bracelet making. And then like 15 minutes before the bell, everybody had to go back to their like respective rooms. And my AT announced that it was like my last day. Some of the kids clued in that I wasn't going to be there on Monday before we even said anything, which we did tell them like I'm only there for the month and I'll be back in February. But she then told them again that this was my last day today and I will be back in February. And once everybody left, she was going to go take a photo, but she first said goodbye to me, and I'm more than welcome to come back whenever I'm home again to stop by to say hello to the kids and everything, which I will more than likely do because I am definitely going to miss them come Monday. So that is pretty much my entire week. I decided during my like the last block of the day that I'm going to work on making like a digital planner thing with all of the stuff that I have like to take notes for on my iPad that I've been taking notes for. Just like put everything into like one document. So I'm working on that right now. So it's like when I come back to Practicum. So like I have the calendar done. I'm going to work on like the weekly layout because I got a weekly layout for my AT with like the class schedule when I was there in October. So I'm thinking I'm going to get another one when I come back in February, but I just digitized it and put it on my iPad. So I'm going to make something similar on this one. And then that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my updates for you guys. I don't really have very many more for this week. I will let you guys know if I have anything else, but that's pretty much it that I know of right now. I have been reading a lot, which I have been doing 75 booked, which will be a video that comes out later once the 75 days are done. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my entire update for you guys. So I will talk to you guys later.